When life gets tough, we often try to cope with the situation by being serious, focused, and determined. But what if I told you that there's another way to deal with adversity, one that might seem counterintuitive at first, but can be incredibly powerful? Using humor as a tool for resilience is exactly what I want to explore with you today. Stress and anxiety can creep into our lives in many ways. We might experience financial difficulties, relationship problems, or health issues, which can all take a toll on our mental well-being. We might feel like we're drowning in a sea of responsibilities, with no clear way out. When we're in the midst of a tough situation, it's easy to get caught up in negative thoughts and emotions. We might start to feel overwhelmed, hopeless, and like we're losing control. It's during these moments that we need to find ways to cope, and that's where humor comes in. When we're stuck in a difficult situation, our minds can play tricks on us. We might start to catastrophize, to think that everything is going to go wrong, and that we're never going to get out of this mess. But what if we could interrupt that pattern of thinking by injecting some humor into the situation? What if we could remember a funny joke, a silly meme, or a ridiculous story that makes us laugh? When we can do this, we start to shift our focus away from the negative and towards the positive. One of the most powerful things about humor is that it can be a game changer in difficult situations. It can turn a potentially disastrous situation into a funny story that we can look back on and laugh about. I've heard stories of people who have used humor to cope with even the toughest of situations. I've heard of people who have laughed through chemotherapy, who have found the humor in their cancer diagnosis, and who have even started comedy clubs in their hospitals. It's incredible to think that even in the darkest of times, there's always something to be found that can bring us joy and laughter. When we can find the humor in our struggles, we open ourselves up to a new level of resilience. We remind ourselves that even in the darkest of times, there's always something to be found that can bring us joy. Laughing at ourselves and finding the humor in our struggles is an incredibly powerful tool for building resilience. It's not always easy, but it's worth it. When we can find the humor in our situation, we open ourselves up to a new level of coping, and we remind ourselves that even in the toughest of times, there's always something to be found that can bring us joy. If you have a story about using humor to cope with a tough situation, I'd love to hear it in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.